Hello, hi, Ross, hi, Rozalind Smith, my colleague in the field, and me, Jenny Lee Secom. Today, we are here for our Soulful Woman's Journey video series again. Welcome, Ross.
Hi, Jenny.
Yes. We both have discussed around different topics, but since we both do the work as soul purpose coach, soul living coach, and a healer, we work around and we found that it's really necessary and important for us today. We both feel guided, right? To share this message with our audience about our soul's purpose, about soulful living. Because I, thought about this when I heard, the soulful thing, that kind of title and name. I felt like, wow, this is so big, It's like, so it's not necessarily related to us ordinary people or whatever, right? But then the reason why we both are here doing our work, sharing all these messages, are because we went through and found our soul's purpose through some challenges, problems, and issues, and even generational deep stuff, and went through the transformational journey and came out. So that's why we want to share something today. So can I start first with a couple of questions first and let you lead us, Ross? And let's share something, talk about who are soulful beings, soulful women and men. And we both, because we are women ourselves and we work with a lot of women, but some men are the same, are on the similar journey to seek their soul's purpose. So, who are those soulful beings, soulful people? What is soulful living? We are talking about.
Well, I'm just going to pick up on something that you said there because I'm going to repeat it back to you.
Okay.
And you said about seekers
Yes.
and being on a journey, and that's exactly who they are. So it's somebody that's not just bumbling along through life. Not that there's any problem with that at all, but it's people that want to explore deeper within themselves, to have a deeper understanding of why they're here, what their mission is, if you like, what their purpose is. And also it's the journey is not just the living, is when we talk about death, of talking about passing over, if there is such, however we interpret death. So to me, a soulful person is somebody that is, it's at the core of who they are.
Yes.
It's the core of them. It's their essence. It's about wanting to understand themselves at such a deep level. Seeking, a seeker is exactly the word that I would have used. And I think that just fits perfectly.
Yes, totally agree. Seeker. I remember I always call myself a lifetime seeker. And also in our community, I just, amazingly meet so many seekers as well. So my seekers concept, actually, when I look back, it came from my childhood. So allow me to share a little bit here. When I was a child, everything's fine. I was a good girl, good to everything, live like a fairly good middle class family life. But deep down inside, I always felt that there was a silent screaming inside in my throat. And I didn't understand. I just had that. So, and also kind of like, part of me was always floating in the air, seeking, right? Searching something. That's the languages and the words I use now. But back then, I just felt the sensation. I just sensed it. but I didn't know what was that. And I didn't even know I was a seeker, but it was just there. I was angry, I guess, about I could not be myself. But who was I back then? If you ask me, I never knew. I just knew that I cannot be myself. I cannot be myself. The silent screaming. So that kind of seeking, spirit guided us, right? Guided me through the different stages of our life, through the career path. Now, half of life past, past. I finally settled down and really knew that all what happened, it was for finally seeking the answers, that we have been searching.
Yes, and it's funny, isn't it? Because you were seeking in that way, and I was just very different and never felt as though I really fit in with
Mm-hmm.
anybody, not even, even with close family. I've spent since I started doing this work 18 years ago. I just then just it was like a nosedive into finding who am I, what am I all about, and it's the same. I couldn't have answered that question, who am I, because I was Rozalind Smith. I was a wife. I was a mum. I didn't realize the spiritual being that I actually am. I didn't realize the depth of who I am. I didn't realize, the journeys that I've had to get here this
Yes.
time. And as I started to do my healing on my healing journey, and things started to become exposed, and I started to feel lighter, and I started to feel more at peace. And, and it doesn't stop today. It doesn't stop. But I know that the way that I view the world, the way that I have that inner peace,
Yes. Yes.
even though I have my days that I'm still stressed and still, because
Yeah, we are human. Yes.
but I have that inner knowing, that
Yes.
inner peace,
Yes.
that knowing who I am, and that if everything, which, I hope this doesn't happen, but if everything was taken away, I know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And to me,
Yeah.
that's a soul journey.
Yes. Thank you so much. Great points. And when you mentioned fit, I really like to add it something, because that's also what I felt. And at the beginning, I thought like, oh, I'm kind of black horse, maybe sheep from my family. I came from Asia, you know, uh, Asian family, the culture, whatever. It was all about seeking external success. And then I didn't feel resonated. I worked in the corporate world, did have those kind of so-called success on the surface level. It's all about external. And I saw so many people had that. But I just felt like I was somebody. And the world, society, family wanted me to be. And I was that person. So I'm kind of like trying to fit everywhere, but just because of that, I don't feel fit. Because my soul's essence, who am I really, you know, in this world, on earth, in this lifetime? So it didn't really totally get explored and unleashed and showed up, I would say. So I felt like, the me showed up before in the world as me. It was like discounted. So part of me I didn't like, or I wanted to hide so that I don't offend others, I don't upset them, or I could get their approval and acceptance, because I was judged harshly when I was a child if I don't follow the rules, whatever. So I always was a good girl. So until later, when I finally went through the journey, and I found many of us. That's how I met you, right? It's so family, so sisters. Right now, we understand. So finally I thought before it was because of my moving, in different places in the world. That's why I don't fit. I don't have the root here and there. But finally I realized it was because of the soul's calling. It's soul's desire in my heart that goes so deep. And some other people in my family tribe also, they just cannot reach that part and go there to feel resonated with us. It doesn't mean who is right or wrong. It just means we all have our different soul's purpose. Everybody came here have our own purpose. Some people, it's just not for them, for their life. That's totally fine. But we didn't know that and we judged us. It's like, what's wrong with us? But finally, I felt like this group of people like us, when we finally got awakened at all levels, especially emotionally and spiritually, and we suddenly step into a different place energetically, we just naturally, genuinely started to attract these kind of people into our life. And then we felt so much resonation to each other. We can support each other, understand, hear each other. And then we found our tribe. We find the place that we fit. All of the people, I bet in your community, you work with, in my community, it's all the same. So that's the other thing, actually, I wanted to bring it up. Thank you for, pointing. Fit. You don't feel fit, don't judge yourself. It's not exactly because something is wrong with you, because your soul goes deeper, and you will find your tribe community to feel fit for you and each other. So since
Yes.
we connected, it's for years already. It's just so much we can share, and now we share together to reach out to serve others.
Yeah, and I do find, Jenny, that, and I'm sure you do with your clients too, as well as with myself, that yes, we find a tribe, but it can be difficult and challenging because the people that are closest to you, whether it be your husband, your wife, your children, mums, dads, you feel that nobody gets you,
Yes.
nobody understands
Oh,
you.
yeah.
And the important thing is to know that it is safe to be you, and it's
Yes.
not that there's anything wrong with you. In
Yes.
you're meant to be different.
Yes.
If you're on this journey of being a real seeker, then it's your journey, not theirs. But it doesn't mean that you can't fit in with those people. It just means that, we can still, I think it does us good, and we continue to grow around other people.
Yes.
Because what happens is the more that we allow ourselves to be ourselves, that energy is then given off to our loved ones. And you start
Yes.
to see transformation within them, even though they are oblivious to most of it.
Yes.
And when we start cutting ties, and we're not going to get deep in this episode, and I know that, but when we start doing the inner work, that's where the book ends.
Yes.
And so it's
So
not being
true.
passed down either.
Yes.
So yeah, they were the points I wanted to point out, because we can very much, when we're in this soul journey of comparing ourselves, judging ourselves,
Yes.
and there's enough of that going on anyway, but we do it even more, I think, because we try to understand, why don't we fit in? When you stop trying to understand
Yes.
and just take that step back and know that it's okay, and give you permission to be on your journey and allow people to be on their personal journey,
Yes.
well, that is a game changer.
Yes. 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 Thank you for pointing that. Highly resonated, of course, again. So I totally agree that many people shared with me. That's what I felt before. And sometimes still, it's like our soul, our mind, or whatever just goes so deep, and no people can go there. And many people said, like, it's just no people can understand me. I don't have people to talk to. Before, I always, you know, like share this and that, until finally I even didn't want to do that. And many people felt that way. So this could really put them into an alone, in a lonely place. It's kind of lonely journey or whatever. But finally, just like you said, we found some kind of issues or wounds that happened in our own life from childhood, or even from family members or generational tribe, the whole culture, whatever caused issues. So those kind of wounds could disconnect us from the love, peace, freedom, satisfaction, all the soul satisfaction that we are seeking, but we didn't know. So we thought it's like we just keep trying and seeking, but never finding. It brought so much frustration, bitterness, disappointment, or whatever. So, and also, yeah, so I really love to share this because this is mostly from my own and other people's experiences. I worked in the corporate, again, I mentioned, I found so many people were trained to use their logical mind and intellectual intelligence to do the work. Yeah, of course, it's important. But with that said, we only really use our potentials at two levels, physically and mentally, from our head space. But emotionally, we never learn, not knowing how to express. And even many people, I found they don't know how to define their feelings. Is it sad or this and that? Don't know how to express. And then they got all stuck in their head. So then when they get stuck, they don't know how to come out. And now, beating themselves for being emotional, this and that, So when we now like healed ourselves, allow ourselves to let out the truth, the feelings, self-talk, thoughts, and beliefs, let them out. So it's like really the door was opening inside, and we are awakening, and then everything. It's can if you can imagine a flow of stream, flow of river, you just kind of sense that some kind of energy open up and start to smoothly flow instead of staying in the stagnant state. So when we found, we had challenges also, and then went through the transformational journey, now actually we started to activate our emotional being and a spiritual being as well. So with these two adding together to work with us together, because that's our whole being. We are that, not only physical and mental. With that itself, so much power, it's like injected into us. That's who we really are. We are unique. And then you feel like you are opening up, you dare to be yourself. I was not daring. I did not dare to be myself. So now I feel like comfortable because I accept myself. I know who I am and I'm unique. So because of this uniqueness, I will not judge myself like I was before by other people. So now it's just like you said, lighter and happier. I would say joyful state, because happier, it's still like comes from the external stuff, the stuff. But this joy, it's really like inside in your heart, something is being activated. So seeking, allow me to add this, we used to seek externally to find the answer, find something for us. So after the whole journey, we actually come back to the original place, to ourselves from within, to our heart. Finally, we found the answers that we have been seeking. It's us. It's all about love, peace, freedom, soul's satisfaction in our heart. It's there, never left. So that's my big, big learning.
Yes, I totally agree. I mean, we can go on this materialistic plane of wanting to collect objects and things. And while it's nice to have nice things in your life, there is nothing that can compare to feeling good inside.
Yes.
And, and I can remember going to a wedding years ago, and a friend's wedding, and her mum looked absolutely gorgeous. And I just turned around and said, "Oh, you look stunning." And she said, "I feel good as well." She said, "How do you feel today?" And it took me back because I never expected somebody to say that. But actually, she took the compliment about that she looked good, but she wanted to express that she felt good. And she also then asked me how I was feeling today. And I thought, wow, that was incredible. Loved that. And
Yeah.
always held that. That was years ago. And but you're right. It's going back to the heart, to the essence of who we really are. It's not about all the material gains. Once you find this in here, if you find this in here and you still like all your nice things and material things,
Yes.
that's fine. I'm not condoning that. What I'm
Yes.
saying is the same as you, that unless you've been on that journey, you can't begin to appreciate how, like you say, joyful, at peace, you feel awake.
Yes. Yes.
That is a very different thing. And I the way that I look at it is what's helped me, and I hope this helps the viewers. So I'm just gonna, if it's okay, just give one or two tips out here.
Yeah, sure.
For me, it's been about, so it's making sure that I'm grounded.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I'm grounded and I feel connected, it doesn't matter what's going on around me. I'm okay and I feel protected and secure.
Yes.
Secure is the right word, but I don't feel alone. So even though I can be with loved ones or whatever, but then feel very different at times, if I'm feeling grounded, I don't seem to hit those moments quite so much. So it's about, for me, practicing self-care.
Oh, yeah.
When I talk about self-care, one is making sure that I'm grounded and my head whizzes when I have more thoughts about things. And so it's about being grounded. But the other thing that I really want to talk about is about your spiritual self-care, is about what is it that you do, just the small moments on a daily basis that lifts you up.
Yes.
And like you say, when you was in corporate and when I was doing my other day job before this, my goodness, I don't think that never crossed my mind at all because I was bringing children up working. I was so busy, I didn't have time to think about me. But if I had have just spent those few moments on doing something for me and making a commitment to that, I would have felt so much better for it.
Yes. Yes.
And so for me, that's one of the most important things. Whenever I go off track, even now, whatever I do, my spiritual care is important. So I have my sacred hour in the morning, and I will either read, which is usually personal development because I'm a proper bookworm, and I will do a small meditation. I'm probably going to do some journaling. But even if you just did 10 minutes of one of them,
Yes.
it sets you up for the day and you can do your grounding in with that. And then it doesn't really matter what else goes on.
Yes. Yes, it's so true. Thank you so much for the tips. That's what I actually wanted to invite you to share with us. Yeah, that's wonderful. And so I think it's almost the timing to almost up. I'm going to wrap up, but before the end, for this today, I really like to, share and spread this message in case you really feel resonated with all what we shared and you feel something is missing in your life, you are still seeking and you are going through the challenges, you don't know what's going on, experiencing all kind of unwanted feelings, no matter it's anger, bitterness, disappointment, powerlessness, or whatever, frustrations, right? So just know that these are the messages actually from your souls. If you don't have people to, communicate, to understand you or so, it's because of that. And you just keep searching from within and do some exercise practices, or if you do have some issues, traumas that got stuck, find professional help to release that and let them go, and you are realigned with your soul, with your true self. So I like to also share a couple of tips. So for me, because I know we always followed our old way of thinking, dealing things, patterns. And then many people got stuck in the head, then, automatically got kicked off to slide into that rabbit hole, right? And now we started desperate or so. But I would just say, starting from now on, if you experience this again, pause. The word is pause, not totally stop at all, not living. Pause and realizing this is not taking me to the place I want to go or I meant to go. My soul's purpose is to find the peace, freedom, soul satisfaction, or whatever, fulfillment, right? So pause first and then use different tools to do journaling. Use my tool. I use EFT, emotional freedom technique, tapping tool, to express the feelings, self-talk in the head, everything in the head. You don't need to analyze, judge, overthinking about that. You just let them out. Speak out, all of them, just take it as neutral, let them out, and then you suddenly found, oh, the garbage in my head, in the inventory, it's cleaned, and now I have room. So I'm already coming back to the neutral state, feel better, feel more peaceful. So it's all about, again, the balance and the realignment. And take your challenges, your issues, or whatever, it sounds like really complicated or so, as the messages from your soul. And then keep going. Your soul will guide you if you allow your emotional and spiritual being also open up and join you together. Bring yourself back to the now moment with your whole self, not just your head, not just your body, and also your spirit part of being and emotional being. Many people pray, but not exactly spiritually connected with yourself. And then, of course, not God, universe, higher power. So just realign, connecting, and bring you back to the now moment. That's the second. First is pause and shift, turn around. And second, find the tools to let them out. Oh yeah, three, let them out. And third, bring your whole self back to the now moment. It's all about bring out the full potentials at all levels. So this gives you so much abundance. So it's not just only money. It's also a lot of others all together. We still have it. It's not like separate, conflicting. We seek the soul, spirit, then we should not have money. It's not like that at all. We experienced already, many of us out there. So that's pretty much for all. And we will come back, of course, sharing more about soul and the soul's essence issues. If you don't have anything else to add, Ross, I guess we will just call it for the day.
Yeah, I'm fine. I just, with everything that you said, I wholeheartedly agree. And I just, I think if I could give one message to people that are feeling alone out there, is that there are many of us that
Yes,
are on this journey more than you probably have ever realized.
yes,
I just think it's nice to know that. And it's nice to know that it's probably not that you're in the wrong place with who you're around, or, I mean, it may be the case, but often it's not. It's how you're feeling yourself. So
yes,
go back to pausing, to be grounded,
yes,
to the right people will come into your life when they're meant to.
yes, yes. And oh yeah, you mentioned this, by the way. Both of us, we have our, supporting group, community group, as well. So we will put it in the contact information, put it there. So if you are also experiencing, welcome to join the tribe, to find the place where you can fit and where you can dare to be yourself, feel safe to be yourself. So we will come back next time, and thank you for watching, everybody, and for anyone who will watch later. Thank you, Ross. Bye for now.